they're changing my voice. So on TikTok, people made various pictures, and I've covered this before in some videos a couple years ago or something. And these pictures were about how they are mad at the world for how they don't care about Jesus, their hypocrisy in regards to Jesus, what have you. And keep in mind, none of these females obey God through me, and I doubt they would even give me a chance to date them. None of them responded to my messages on their pages. So this first female, she says that she's trying to keep her cool in public, and she thinks about how Jesus died for them and they don't even care. Now that's something that's very true, especially when we're talking about attractive females. Now, you got to realize that Jesus is superimposed on the idea of the person who died for what they believe in a way that's the bell that rings the loudest in reality. Okay? The Easter Bunny isn't real. Santa Claus isn't real. And what you think about Jesus, who you think Jesus is, unless you know it's me, okay, isn't real. I am real. I am the real idea that Christ is superimposed on, and no matter how I die, I'll have given my life to do God's work in a way that goes beyond everyone else. However, this is not the part of the Bible where, Christ dies and people have a chance to redeem themselves. This is the end. The reality of the situation is that nobody will be able to be right with God after my flesh dies. And no one should reproduce no matter what. Now, people who obeyed God through me in time in a timely fashion that is to God's satisfaction, they'll go to heaven when they die. If they die after, my flesh dies. So, they'll go to heaven after, when their flesh dies, even if they die after my flesh dies. I say it this way because dickheads like to confuse things. They like to make it seem like, that death refers to the death of your soul, because these are cult of the flesh dogs. So I clarify it for them. Now, in a sense, it can refer to that, and that's part of how the Bible's written, but you should get what I'm saying. So, keep in mind that her response is how a female's supposed to respond, and has implications on the fact that if females were in their right mind, that they wouldn't shun me. Okay? They're shunning me because they're too stupid to think about it the same way that she thinks about it, to the point where they say, hey, it's not worth fighting your life in this world. You're better off rallying and obeying God through me. Because even if you didn't get to date me or marry me or whatever, that's your only chance of having true love. That's your only chance of having a worthwhile life.